Hello po mga kababayan, kumusta na po kayo lahat dyan? Nandito na naman po ako. Samahan niyo po ako ha, sa paglalakwatsa. Ito po, papakita ko sa inyo ha, papakita ko sa inyo. Just a moment. Are they open? Hello po. Ito po ay lugar ng sinasabi nilang Underground Railroad, na isang lalaki na tumulong sa mga long time ago dito sa Amerika na mga slaves. Tinulungan niya ng makalaya. Marami po siyang ginawang not remarkable, heroic act para sa mga binigay niya po ang kanyang buhay para lang iligtas ang ibang mga slaves. Tignan po namin kung bukas. Sandali lang po. Hello.
So it's a little while from now, but if you don't want to stay for that, it's fine. We have an interpreter, so you can check out. That's free. And so we have a 10-minute video downstairs, and then we have our exhibit upstairs as well.
Is that like the house down there, dude?
Yes.
That's the actual house.
The actual
Yeah.
house?
So usually the tour covers that whole house, and we go through every room and talk about the stories in there and
They
stuff.
show where it was like. I did it when I was like in junior or
Oh yeah, a
grade
long
school.
time ago. Yeah.
Long time ago.
Yeah, he want to show me all of this. He want to show
Thank you
me.
very much, though.
No
Yeah,
problem.
thank you. Hi guys. Hello to the people from Australia, Philippines, Japan. If you guys come over here to Indiana, Fountain City, this is where the history began. He freed the slaves, and this is all the museum. This is the half of the museum. If you guys can see that. He is part of the big one of the history in America. To me,
This is just the gifts downstairs.
to me, he's a hero.
This is mostly the gifts downstairs at the museum.
Downstairs. Oh, I like that coffee mug. These are all like if you want to buy souvenirs and stuff. I like that coffee mug. So if the travel is okay, I know Australia right now is a little bit strict, and Japan. So if you guys want to come to United States, come to Indiana, here in Fountain City, where lies all the history, the big part of history in America. The man who helped free the slave, he's very, very smart, you guys.
I've been volunteering at the Levi and CATHARINECOFFIN House for about 8 years. I started there because I wanted to help tell the stories of those who have a profound connection to this house, like my great-great-grandfather, William West. This house holds so much history, and with the completion of the Interpreting Center, we can bring new focus to the stories of the freedom seekers and the fight against slavery. I invite you to learn about all the remarkable people who passed through these walls. Welcome.
There was a time when slavery was the law of the land. It was a time when a 7-year-old boy and his father saw a group of slaves passing by. The father asked why they were chained. The reply was that they were being taken from their families, and that the slave driver was afraid they would try to escape. The boy was Levi Coffin, and the incident would have a profound effect upon him.
I turned to my father and asked many questions concerning them, why they were taken from their families, etc. In simple words suited my comprehension, my father explained to me the meaning of slavery, and as I listened, the thought arose in my mind how terribly we should feel if father were taken from us. Levi Coffin.
Yet it was an unavoidable fact that in those days, families were indeed separated by slavery. And it was also a fact that there were those held in bondage that would risk everything, even death, to escape the shackles of slavery. They were often called runaways or fugitive slaves, yet in truth, they were freedom seekers, people markedly determined to find the freedom they knew was their right. Levi Coffin and his family were members of the Society of Friends, or Quakers, and as such, they did not believe it was right for one person to own another. However, they lived in a state, North Carolina, where slavery was perfectly legal. Yet Levi believed that even though slavery was legal, it was still wrong. And as a young man, Levi helped freedom seekers whenever he could. The issue of slavery was a divisive one across the nation. In North Carolina, it put the Quakers at odds with others in the state. And by the 1820s, many Quakers were moving from North Carolina to Indiana, where slavery was against the law. Levi Coffin arrived in Indiana in 1826 with his wife, Catherine, and settled in Newport, Indiana, now known as Fountain City. Catherine, like Levi, was strongly opposed to slavery, and both wanted to help freedom seekers gain their freedom. From Levi's point of view, Newport was ideally located. There were 3 main points over the Ohio River for freedom seekers headed north: Cincinnati, Ohio, Madison, Indiana, and Jeffersonville, Indiana. People crossing at any of these points might readily pass through Newport on their way north. Levi found that free blacks living around Newport were providing assistance to freedom seekers headed to Canada. Although there were many Quakers in the community opposed to slavery, few were actively helping. The reluctance was understandable, because although slavery was illegal in Indiana, so was helping runaway slaves. Indeed, the federal government had passed laws as early as 1793, allowing slave hunters to come north and physically force freedom seekers back into slavery. Escaping from slavery, or helping someone escape, was not only very difficult and dangerous, it was also against the law. But Levi and Catherine felt that when it came to slavery, there was a higher law. Once during a journey, a fellow traveler from the South said to Levi, Brother Coffin, if you lived in the South, you would soon change your opinions about slavery.
I told him that the longer I lived in the South, the stronger were my convictions of the sin of slavery, and then referred to the separation of husbands and wives, parents and children, and other evils contrary to the teachings of the gospel. Levi Coffin.
So it was by the end of 1826, Levi and Catherine were readily welcoming freedom seekers to their home, providing assistance and guiding them to the next step of their journey. Levi and Catherine became part of a secret network of homes and stopping points for freedom seekers as they made their journey north toward freedom.
I kept a horse and wagon always on hand to convey fugitives to the next depot. Levi Coffin.
In time, this network became known as the Underground Railroad. And as Levi had foreseen, his home became a critical part of what he called the mysterious road.
The roads were always in running order, the connections were good, the conductors active and zealous, and there was no lack of passengers. Seldom a week passed without our receiving passengers by this mysterious road. Levi Coffin.
Levi and Catherine's house came to be known as the Grand Central Station of the Underground Railroad, as over the years more than 1,000 men, women, and children found refuge in their home. These passengers often arrived at night, most often tired and hungry from their long journeys. Levi became a successful and respected businessman in Newport, running a dry goods store with Catherine. And they used much of their proceeds to provide food and clothing for the constant stream of passengers appearing at their doorstep. Levi, standing in the community, along with the fact that many in the immediate area were also opposed to slavery, helped protect his work as part of the Underground Railroad. Yet he had to always be careful.
We often held library meetings, as we call them. In that day of mobs and ridicule of abolitionism, it would not do to call them abolition meetings, even though the sentiment was on the increase in Indiana. Levi Coffin.
One of Levi's greatest concerns was the ever-present slave hunters sent from the South to track down and capture freedom seekers and return them to slavery.
In some instances where we learned that the pursuers were ahead of them, we sent a messenger and had the fugitives brought back to my house to remain in concealment until the bloodhounds in human shape had lost the trail and given up the pursuit. Levi Coffin.
Levi also believed that if people opposed slavery, they should buy goods that were made by free workers and not by slaves.
I felt that it was inconsistent to condemn slaveholders for withholding from their fellow men their just, natural, God-given rights, and then by purchasing the fruits of the labor of their slaves, give them the strongest motive for continuing their wickedness and oppression. Levi Coffin.
So Levi and Catherine began selling free labor cotton goods and other products in their store. And in 1847, they moved to Cincinnati to run a warehouse dedicated solely to the distribution of free labor goods. In Cincinnati, Levi and Catherine also continued their work as part of the Underground Railroad until the end of the Civil War and the eventual demise of slavery. Levi and Catherine's era was a time of profound choices. As people throughout the country decided whether they accepted slavery as the law of the land, or whether they opposed slavery and its expansion into the new territories as the country pushed its borders westward. And for the many blacks held in slavery, it was a time of making the hard choice to risk everything in order to find freedom. Because the risks for a freedom seeker were great, many died in their attempt, and the punishments that awaited those that were recaptured were often dire. Yet there were many with the courage and determination to face these risks. And along the way, there were people like Levi and Catherine who were willing to help freedom seekers on their journey to freedom.
Did my Lord
Two
deliver?
heroes.
Daniel deliver, Daniel deliver,
They are the heroes.
Daniel, did my Lord deliver? Daniel, and why not every man? He delivered Daniel from the lion's
They are the
den,
heroes.
and Jonah from the belly of a whale. The Hebrew children from the fiery furnace, and why not every man? Did my Lord deliver? Daniel deliver, Daniel deliver, Daniel deliver.
We need to get like a coffee, Mom. Can we get a coffee, Mom?
Daniel, and why not every man? The moon runs down in a purple stream, the sun for there to shine, and every star
That was really, really good story. Real story, you guys. He's very, him and his wife, good heart people. And I'll show you guys.
Upstairs too.
Hold on, love. These are the map. The, to me, he's a hero. A hero that will never be forgotten. And it's so sad that through this day, this slavery still exists. You see this guy, this is a real picture of one of the slaves, how they, men and women and children get punished for anything. It's really, really sad. Okay, you guys, we're going upstairs now, and I'm going to show you guys the real house that they lived in, the husband and wife. This is the museum. Look, when we came in. So I wanna show you guys ever come this way. So I totally tell you guys that come to United States, pass by the Indiana, you'll see a lot of, especially in Fountain City, you see a lot of history. These are the actual pictures, you guys. I don't know if you guys can see that. These are the actual footage of pictures. Looks so real. Whoever made this cast, so looks so real. Levi and Catherine, you two are the hero. Left, pull the rope. Oh God. Some people call them rebel. I don't know how can you call a person rebel when they help to make people's lives better. To me, they are a hero, a true hero act. That's an act of heroism of these two people, Levi Coffin and Catherine. Husband and wife. So amazing. A heart made of gold. Traveling to safety. And he wrote this quote right here. Open. Yeah, what would you do? Some people, they will just turn their back on helping people. Some people that have a golden heart, like Levi, Coffin, and Catherine, those people are very rare. They are rare souls. Okay, I want to show the house. So, get me a two mugs. Mugs for you and I. I know, my love. You cannot just because it's so like moves a lot. I don't want my viewers to feel these. Please give me two I like the hat as well. Just a moment, my love. I'm just going to show the house. You guys. Oof. I'm going to go to the other side of the street because I'm going to show you guys the actual house of Levi Coffin and Levi and Catherine Coffin. They are. This is the actual house they preserve, and pasensya na po kayo kung maggalaw ano po kasi yung aking kamay minsan napapagod sa kahahawak. I have a selfie stick but once again I forgot to bring it with me. Guys, this is the actual house. You see that? When it's clear, I'm gonna go right in the front and I'm going to show you guys the things that sorry. Wow. They're trying to preserve this house. This you guys see that? It's the sun. Levi Coffin House has been designated registered National Historic Landmark under the yes, International Park Service. 1965.
And so one of the things that we always tell people is that when freedom seekers came in here, they're mostly coming in the middle of the night. And Catherine, she'd actually make meals for people as soon as they got here. So there's stories of them waking up really early in the morning, breakfast for 17 people. But then downstairs they have an extra cooking area. And so they built this house for themselves. So we think they were basically adding that kitchen area for when they're going to make meals for people in the middle of the night, so then they don't get people looking around, snooping around, don't get very suspicious while they're here.
Is this like a original table?
So a lot of all the furniture in the house, is one thing I usually say on the tour, is that none of it was personally owned by the Coffins. So when they moved to Cincinnati, they took all their stuff with them.
Oh,
so
okay.
the things that we have in the house, they are Quaker items, and they're donated from different families from around the area.
Okay.
So it's very similar to what they may have been having in the house when they were living here.
Yeah.
This is their sitting room. We always say in here they have different group meetings. This area was Quaker area, and they have a pretty good bit of community behind the support they're doing. So the house was kind of a hub for a lot of the abolitionists work in town. So they have one called the library meetings. They come talk about anti-slavery issues, and then they have the sewing circles, and that would be Catherine and other people
Wow.
here.
I finally see the house, and Wow.
And then a little hallway. Some people are like, oh, look at all that weird stuff. So that's a door to the back. There's actually 4 ways to get into the house. And you'll notice that those 2 doors in the kitchen and then these 2 doors over here, they're both parallel. And so they would make houses that way back then just to help with like cross breezes in the summertime. So then you just get nice air both ways because you don't have air conditioning.
This is like still an original.
Yeah, so a lot of the wood, we believe about 95% of the wood is the original that the coffins had in here. So a lot of the flooring, a lot of the trimming, the doors, even this staircase, all of that is the original stuff that the coffins put in here back in 1839.
Look at the guy.
Yeah, our house was built in 1895.
What year?
Our house was built in 1895.
Yeah.
So this one is the parlor, but sometimes call it the library because we have this bookcase over here in the corner. And Levi actually put together an anti-slavery library here in town. So we think that it may have been at their dry goods store, which actually was just down the road. If you look down there, it's that Pizza King.
Yeah.
So it's that same location, but it's not the same building. So it may have been at their store or it may have been at the house because like I said earlier, this was a hub for a lot of that work that was going on in here. And then one other thing in here that's kind of interesting is that desk. So in the video they talked about his free labor warehouse that he ran in Cincinnati. And there's a picture, I'll go ahead and show it to you, of a shipping label that they found on the back when it was donated to us. And it says that it came from Cincinnati from Levi. So that means it came from his free labor warehouse.
Wow.
And they decided to donate to us. And now we get to show it off to
Yeah.
everybody.
Oh.
That's
So-
amazing.
We always think that desk is really cool. We really like that desk. So I can show you the upstairs now.
Okay.
We can go up this way. It's a lot easier. They have a back staircase, but these are the most normal stairs they have.
What'd you say?
So over here we have their attic, and we don't let anybody go up there because obvious reasons. And then this room we think would have been Levi's mother's room. So she stayed here and lived with them. So we think that she was sleeping in that room. And then this room over here, we believe is
Oh,
the
wow.
master bedroom.
There's like an
Yes. So there's no railing, and I always say that you probably go up there kind of like a ladder. You never just want to walk head down. You probably fall. And so here's the master bedroom. So then we have Catherine's room. And we have some pretty clothing over there in that corner. And that was actually owned by their friends. They're called the Huffs. And they lived in town. They also used their house as a safe house. And actually still stands. It's just south of here. It's a residential house though. But it's one of those little white houses. If you drive by, you could maybe look at it and point it out. And then also in here, this is the last room upstairs. And you gotta watch your head because it's all angled.
Oh wow.
So this room was called, we think the servants' room.
Oh,
So
there's
from
another
time to
door.
time, people worked for them. We always still tell a story about a woman named Aunt Rachel. She was a freedom seekers and she stayed here for 6 months, which was a long time compared to most people staying here. It was like a day or two.
I remember that in a history.
Yeah.
History. That-
Yeah, so
That's
a lot of people like the door, especially like little kids, and we push it open for people. So at one time there was 14 people staying with them. They're all full-grown adults, and they heard we're slave catchers in town, so they had to hide in the garret. And then the word garret, it means like a storage space, but they have an attic too. That could be a garret. Which one is it? And so we think it would have been this one because the attic is way too obvious. It's such a big door. It's right on the front steps. And so this one, you would easily just hide the door. You can put something in front of it like a bed.
Yeah, remove the bed over.
Yeah, so it'd be a lot easier to hide that there's even something there. So it's a lot better hiding spot.
Yeah. So that is
So that takes you down to the kitchen. If you feel brave, you can go down those steps. I usually don't.
Okay,
And yeah,
then I
we can go
won't.
down the front steps again.
I follow your. Oh, I love.
And yeah, we have a lot of these really great quilts all around the house.
This just reminds me with my grandmother. Is the Quaker? I heard about that in history. In back in college. Is that like they're like what? Originally from?
Yeah, so they're considered
No,
like a religion. They call themselves like the Friends. And so there's actually a church just down that way on the same road.
Oh, okay.
So there was a pretty big Quaker community around here when they were living here. Now it's more of Amish people around here.
So they were originally from
So
what country?
The Coffins were originally from North Carolina. And when they were living there, they were part of a Quaker community too. And there ended up being what was called the Great Quaker Migration,
Yeah.
where a lot of the Quakers living in the southern states
Yeah.
decided to move up north to someplace like Indiana or Ohio,
Yeah.
where they thought they could get away from slavery forever, but that's obviously not the case. Especially around here, there's the fugitive slave law, and so if you wanted to do anti-slavery work, it would be really hard because if you got caught, you'd be fined. And in today's money, that fine was about $20,000. Back then, it was $500. And so they had to get really organized with their work when they came here. They started out pretty young, but they built their wealth and they became pretty prominent people in town. And that's how they were able to get a lot of this community behind them to make sure nobody got caught here. So it's a really
Yeah.
great feat that all of that just seemed to work together to make sure this place was very safe for people when they came here.
Wow, it's amazing. Are those? Okay, those are just they just put that in there, right? Yeah.
Those are donated this year.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
those are just put in there.
Yeah, and so Quakers, they like a lot of plain stuff. So you can see throughout the whole house, it's a really nice house.
Some of their dialects, like the Amish people,
Oh,
it's like
yes.
sounds German.
Yeah, so I can't remember what
I understand
it's
some of it.
called. But you can even read his autobiography. He talks like it
Yeah.
sometimes, where they say thee and thy back then.
D in the dash.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they usually talk like that to themselves, I guess.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
heard them talking to themselves, and I understood some of their.
Yeah.
Because I speak German.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Her grandfather was German.
Ooh. Okay, so let's go ahead and head down to the basement because obviously
Okay.
that's the coolest part.
Wow. Ooh, exciting. Oh my God. It's so narrow.
Yeah, be really careful when you go down.
This is remind me in Versailles. My love, remember when we went to Versailles?
Yeah, I know.
Exactly just like this how it made. The back door, the stairway. Oh my God, it's so stiff. Oh,
So here's our basement. So this was that actual kitchen area that I was talking about.
oh my
And
God.
so you can tell by putting it off to the side, that was an original window, but putting it off to the side is a lot harder to tell that anything's going on down here, especially in the middle of the night.
And I remember in I think you were there in the history back in New York in college that it's hard to keep the because of the moisture. But remember that? It said it's expensive to keep.
Yeah, to keep it really nice and dry in
And
here.
dry.
Yeah,
And,
so you can see in here, like, it rained on Thursday, so there's some, I usually will collect some rain over here in this area.
Yeah.
But what's funny is this is the area that we have the well. That
Yeah,
we had. Yeah.
I remember that. Oh my God, it's
Yeah, but the thing about this well is the way it's made. This place has a really high water table, so
Yeah.
you get natural spring water just coming up from the ground. And
That's
you don't have to dig
brilliant.
very deep. Yeah. But this area usually stays well and dry. The actual well part itself, it's only flooded once in the last 50 years. So
wow, really?
yeah, so all the
Can I step in this?
oh, sure. Just be careful so you don't fall or anything. So All the
gosh.
bricks underneath are original and unmortared, and I can go ahead and stir around. so
Guys,
can
you
see
guys
it.
look at that well.
Yeah, so all the bricks on the top are part of the restoration back in the late 60s when this house became a historic site. But all the bricks underneath are the original ones that the coffins put in. So it always lets the water just flow in and out and always stays at this level right here.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and so they added this extra stick right here just to make sure if there's any actual flooding. It'd go out that way than actually rising up and
Don't be
flooding
careful.
this little
She said be
area.
careful in there.
So I always think the well is the coolest part of the whole house.
Yeah. Oh my God, it is really like,
Yeah.
I mean, for a long time ago, that is so brilliant.
It is really cool, especially when there's no other houses around here. And put a well in their basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the high water table, a lot of people had wells, but they put them outside.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the fact that they either got somebody to help them or they figured out themselves to how
Yeah.
far they got deep to put this here is
Even
pretty
in
cool.
Germany, they still have wheels, but never inside.
Yeah, no, definitely not. So it's really
Wow.
cool. So that's the whole house. If you're interested, you can head out to the barn later on. And there we have our replica false bottom wagon. And then we also have a carriage in there as well. So very similar to what they were using back then too.
Yeah,
No
thank you so
problem.
much. Oh, so that's the guys. Look at that. Yeah, the butter churn. Oh wow. Okay, now I need to slow down. This is remind me in Versailles. Oh, it's so stiff.
You're here for like 11 years.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we lived down there for a while because I want to get like close to my relatives down there. Oh my God. The,
This is store.
thank you so much.
No problem.
Yeah.
You guys, it's a Sunday, so it's slow. So you might be the only people here today.
Oh, so we're very lucky.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, I can open the door for you guys. So,
Okay, thank
Go.
you. Thank you. I want to show these names.
problem.
Yeah, who are these people in names?
I think the names are just people that contribute or donate.
Oh, okay. So these are the contributors and,
And then this one right
donors.
here, Nola Rupert, she was the very last private owner of this house, so they called her the
Oh.
owner protector. So in 1967, she passed away, and then actually Shell, the oil company, said, let's put a gas station here.
Oh,
And that's when people said, we're not letting that happen.
yeah.
So that's when they turned it into a historic site, and they actually saved it for everybody
Yeah.
to be able to see forever.
Oh, yeah. When my sister come visit, I would like to take her over here, so she can
Really
like.
small, but we got a lot of really great history here.
Oh yeah.
Problem.
Thank
guys can
you.
comment.
Thank you so much.
Have a nice day.
Guys, these are the people who contribute for the to keep this place, you know, like standing. These are the people who contributed. This is Freedom Walk. And if you guys from another country and would like to visit United States of America, please don't be afraid. You know, we are not all bad here. We are actually, majority are friendly and very helpful people, and they really are kind and nice. So, you know, you guys, you know, there are bad people all over the world. So, you know, in every race there's always somebody's bad. So you guys, if you would like to come visit the United States of America, come. If you like history, please come visit Indiana. It's full of history. It really is. So This is the Fountain City, and the whole Indiana is full of history, you guys. All the way to Ohio and Cincinnati, Kentucky. So you guys, I'm taking you to a lot of history. So thank you guys from coming with me, and please don't forget to subscribe, okay? Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit or click that renovation. I'm sorry. There's like a guy that hit his gas and just made a noise, so that kind of threw me off. So you guys, that notification, click that notification so that when I upload, you got all the bell ringing. Thank you guys for coming with me. Thank you guys for walking with me. And to all the people who subscribe, thank you all very much. And to those who did not, please subscribe. It's so very easy and it's free, you guys. Thank you very much, okay? I love you guys all. Peace, you guys. Peace. Love y'all. Bye.